Okay, well, obviously you can hear Stella snoozing in the background, so she's snoring up a storm. Okay, so outside of my house, oh my God, every time I open the door, it feels like I'm, it feels like I'm in the fucking polar freeze or something. It's mental. And then I saw yesterday, so those storms that I had seen that they were talking about down in the south, then it turned into this freezing thing again. And so this frigid temperature drop. And then I think there's stuff with, well, I don't even know what all. Like, I mean, they are doing so much to just, because it was a pretty big list. It was like Atlanta, Kentucky, let's see, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, all of the, a whole bunch of places. They're just, and I swear to God, I mean, Kentucky just had that flood recently. I'm telling you, they just, it's like they destabilize, they knock all these people out of their houses, then they just reload and come back in. It's just like what they just keep doing. Yesterday, too, in mine, there was one small tree that went down in my yard. It was a small one, thank God. But I've got quite a stack of little giant branches, this tree and stuff to cut down for, or to cut up for wood. It's mental how much. And, I mean, fuck, for all I know, my whole yard's going to be just, I don't know. Like, this is, it's just so crazy to not know. And then there's so many more people, though, are feeling and knowing like something's about to go down. And it is, like, I've seen more things talking about that core, the inner core, and more people saying when it starts going the other direction, which I think supposedly it kind of is, but it's not really going very, but it's like shifting. But that is the pole shift, that's the whole thing. That is when time turns upside down and we go the other direction. That is when everything is seen for what it is and not for what it appears to be or what you've been told. So all of that goes in together. And so I think it's super close. And people, you see these people, well, I'm not a conspiracy theorist and I don't know. I don't believe, and they'll talk super slow, not fast. They're very like, I don't I just don't know. But I really feel like something's about to happen. Something really, really big's about to happen. And you see that over and over and over. And another thing I have seen a lot of that is sad is these exes going into, I don't know if it's the moms are at home with the kids, so they kept the houses and kicked the guy out, or if they moved out and then got places, maybe it's all different. But the husband breaking in and just destroying everything, like all their kids' stuff and everything, it's like people have just completely lost their minds. I mean, they're so eaten up with anger and resentment and hateful attitude towards people who they once said they loved, and that is, people have got to see. There's another one where I saw this woman and she was talking about, how important it is to forgive. Don't sit here and about with your parents and stuff. I don't even know because it was a stitch, so I only saw like a second of her talking, but I got her drift because I feel like I say the same kind of stuff. And then the guy who came on to stitch it, he was saying, because that woman was saying you got to realize the people who were raising you that didn't do right, they were damaged, they had something wrong. And so this guy's responding to that. So I'm supposed to remember she was damaged when she tried to smother me at 2 months. So I don't know who told him that one because he said it was him. It held a gun on him at 18, like all sorts of stuff. Like, and I've said this before, there is a lot of really, really bad situations. Like, there is a whole point to healing. There's a whole point to all that stuff. But then there's this whole other group because there's both sides to every coin. And so those people, they've got to figure out their stuff too. I still say forgiveness is vital to your own peace of mind, to your own peace. If you're carrying around hate and resentment and anger, it's inside of you. Is that what you want inside of you? You want it sitting in there just waiting, like, okay, somebody say something to me. Just come on, come on. I'm ready, I'm ready. Is that what you want to be? Or you want to find peace? And even if you don't want anything to do with the people, to still realize, like, there's nothing wrong with you. They had something wrong with them. And they weren't able to be anything more than what they showed. And some people are very, um, abusive, drug addicts, and all this stuff. And that is where we have to really start recognizing, like, this is our society. We have got people out there who are broken and addicted and don't know how to take care of themselves. And, and then they're having kids. So it's such a whole thing in our whole society. It's not just this family or that person over there. No, it's in everyone's families. It's everywhere. There's abuse and pain and suffering and trauma and drama and hateful behavior and resentment and anger. Everyone's family has all this stuff. And so, all of it is being purged to the surface. Everything is being brought up so that you can deal with the different things. And that doesn't mean that they're all like easy to deal with. A lot of them are super complicated. And yeah, if somebody's abusive to you, go over, hey, what are we doing on Sunday? You want to watch a game or something? You don't have to go out and interact with somebody who, is danger to you. And even if it's a danger to your mental health because they beat you down so much, like just seeing the video of that one girl where her dad just tells her all the time that she's just fat. Like, that is so hateful. Like, why would you just sit and try and beat somebody down? Because you feel insecure, because she's not perfect. So then you have to realize you're not perfect. So then you're just going to ridicule her and put her down and make her feel bad about herself. So I could totally see where that girl was like, I can't go and be around these people for my own mental health. But still, for her, she needs to look at it and go, okay, I can forgive them. Like, whatever happened to him, he was probably ridiculed and put down his whole life, and he doesn't believe in himself. He was depending on his kids to make him feel better about himself, to make him feel better about his life. And that expectation fell apart because they didn't do that, because that's not what they're there for. They're there to figure their own life out, to go overcome their own obstacles, to become their best self, not to help you become your best self. That's up to you. Each person has to make that choice for themselves. And it just becomes so much more clearer and clearer and clearer to me. Like, this place is all about the choices of who you are and who you want to be. It's like that is what the game objective is to show you who you are. And so you can see, like, how you treat people, how you act, how you take care of yourself. All of that is for you to witness in you. So, because it's expansive, it's growth. And so, that is what, as far as I'm concerned, this is what this place is all about. It's like kind of like a training center. So you can, try some things on, see, and become better and better. I think this kind of incarnations into this kind of dense reality where it's so full of mayhem and lies and chaos. It's so curious as to, in our solar system, say, as our system, to be all of the galactic, like the whole galactic mind, all of everything that encompasses us into this one system. It is curious, like, how many different, planets or universes or places or realities or whatever you want to call it are so dark and heavy and dense, and it carries so much pain and suffering. It's just like the one and only in our whole thing, and that's what everybody comes here like, oh, can I do it? Can I do it? Can I handle it? Do I really know who I am? Can I really, no matter all the bad things happening, can I still find myself in all of the chaos? And I think, a lot of people are. A lot of people, it's very challenging for sure. And, but that is the challenge. That is the game. Everything is, and challenges are, obstacles and challenges are the things to help you grow. Like the obstacles and challenges they put in front of us are to beat us down. But in reality, the obstacles and the challenges that are before you on a spiritual level of your own growth and so much things has to do with attitude, has to do with how you look at it. Like honestly, think about like in the morning, do you get up and do you just right away start thinking of what you don't have? Or do you start thinking about what you do have and then you feel grateful? Like, oh, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky I can go take a warm shower today. I'm so lucky that I have blankets and I have a warm place. I'm so lucky I have wood. I'm so lucky I have tea bags. I'm so lucky that I have Stella here breathing again today. Like just going through all of the things. And especially at a time when there's so much loss. Like I can't even believe how many videos I've seen of people's houses burning down. Like, man, it's not enough that you got the weather, all of these different things, but like so many people's houses are burning down, their houses are flooding, and then you got all of the storms, all of the sickness, all of the, man, all of the lies and stuff. And the WEF, now they aren't even satisfied with the 15-minute city. That's just giving us way too much movement. Now they're going to put out the 5-minute city. And, as crazy as it may seem, is that they've already started these. Canada has one, England has one, Paris has one. I'm sure there's in America, they've already got them set up. I'm not sure what cities or whatever, but they're definitely, getting it ready to be, and it is going to be just like in the Hunger Games. Like you are stuck in your district and you can't go out of it. And I mean, they would at some point, if it were to go into that world, they would, well, bring out your best and we're going to watch them fight to the death, because that is what these people enjoy. Yesterday, I put on this movie called Havenhurst. I don't know, I was in this movie. I get in these moods to watch supernatural and ghost movies and stuff like that, because I know that stuff is real. And so anyways, I like to watch them. And so this one, Havenhurst, it was creepy. It's this old building, and all these people disappear in it and stuff like that. And so that's the story. And so you start, looking into it, and then they, of course, start showing the tunnels and all of the hidden spaces in the walls and the trap doors and stuff like that. And I just was like, man, how many movies do they show this stuff all the time? Like, there is a whole world underneath our world. And in this world, it was like hostile. Like, it was just, I mean, science experiment. Like, oh, what happens if we just chop the bottom part of them off? What happens if I just leave their, all of this stuff that they do to people? Like, man. And this one, so it's going like that for a while. And then when she started figuring out, then it was supposed to be, it was H.H. Holmes, and it was his mom who owned the building, and he's, mass murdering in this building, pulling people into these hidden walls and stuff like that. But the whole thing is like, that really is real. It may not be H.H. Holmes is out there still going around, but it's kind of weird how they also put that in American Horror Story. I don't know. There's just some of this stuff, like, I don't know, like Ted Bundy. All these people are MK Ultra, I think. Like, they create monsters. They create criminals. Everything is their creation. Like, this world, this reality is their creation. And it's, and then people accept it. Like, when they start telling us, like, they have to, we have to have policemen to police us and arrest us and stuff like that. Like, I think back a long time ago, wasn't it just soldiers? Wasn't it just like there was an emperor or whatever, and he had his soldiers, and if people didn't follow the emperor, the soldiers just go in, behead you, which, like, that'd be a lot better than some of this other shit they do. Like, let's make it fast. And then, but then these people started, like, wanting to do it from the shadows. Like, they like to stay hidden. They don't want us to know who they are. And when you see about Trudeau, now him going out with his arrogant ass walking around, and he's got like a parade of haters following him, and that is going to be like all of these different people. What was that one I just saw? Because people are really, really disturbed now because they see the whole murder of that guy in Memphis was all to get people into the street, to cause the chaos, to get people out there and get them angry. Because then, like I said, you just, take pop shots and you just take them out one by one. Just have, bring in an instigator, have him run over a few, that guy over there, have him jump out and shoot into the crowd. Like, it's just, and people just, it's so weird. It's because it's like they're led by this SJW spirit of like this social justice warrior. It's like, but it's like the opposite of what we need to be doing. We need to be pulling free. As long as we are participating, then we're a part of their game. We are playing their game. They have control over our energy. They have control over the game until you pull free and say, I'm not playing your game. I see your game and I'm not playing it. And it's so hot. Like, it's so weird because I go in and I listen to these people and their attitude and how they see things. And it's like, oh my God, how are people going to start seeing? How are they going to start seeing the truth? How long are they going to keep holding on to this? Wanting, I don't know, wanting to fix this, wanting things to just go back to the way they were, and willing to accept, I mean, you have like this whole group of people who question it. Like, they'll sit in tears questioning it. Like, oh, I've got this problem, that problem, I got this bill and that bill, and this happened and that happened, and I just can't do it. I don't understand. Why is this life? Why? Why do we live like this? So many people going through that. So many people being, it's all of those things. Like, I just refer to it as like everybody's come to Jesus moment. Everybody's like crisis. There's, you have to look at things deeper. You have to see. And, man, there's just so many people who are just so stuck. It's just so, and that's the thing, is like, I don't know. Are they really stuck, or is they just leaving and they just came in for that and they're done and they're going? Like, I don't know. There's so much to be seen. And I did see this one woman answering a question to somebody else, but the question that the girl had said was that she had had a dream in 2020 of this giant solar flash that was going to happen. And that is a thing that I have thought this whole time, this solar flash thing. It's just, it's hard to understand how it all fits in together. The pole shift, the going the other direction, the, all of these different physical aspects of it, because I know energetically, like, I can get it on that level. Energetically, it's just going to turn, and everything that you thought was one way is going to be shown to you the other way. Everything that was black will be seen as white. Like, everything is going to be seen for what it is. And then I think that is the part too, where the people who are awake, it's going to be like a level up for them. And the people who are just waking up, it's going to be like they're going to go into that next slot. But then the people who are already awake doing the work, see, they'll go level up, and they'll go and that will be a motivation for the other people to see, like, because the waking up is so hard, especially what some of them are going to be waking up to. I've seen so many different people now with regret, not just because like they're sick, like there's a lot of them out there that are injured, but not just because of that. It is because they're starting to notice like all of the problems with it and all of the problems that people are having. And this one was kind of cool because this one was a woman, and she was saying that she was one of those people who was really, she has all of them, and she was really rude, she said, to people who didn't have them. She said, I was just like, I was get so angry and I was so mad, and I just kept thinking that they were the problem. And she went through and she was explaining it so well, and so many people will have to come to that realization as well. And that is the thing. See, she did humble herself. She did call herself out. She did say like, man, I can't believe I was acting that way. And she said that what made the change for her was not hearing people in her family. Like, she blew off family and friends and all sorts of people. But she said it's when I started listening to strangers. And that is what I have been saying the whole, that's like how I feel my role is. I can't get through to my family. I know that the biases are in the way, but I can be out here speaking the truth for other people's families, for other people to hear. And so, that is, that's my, gift to humanity, to help people move forward. But she said that is what made the difference to her, is that listening to other people. And then she started seeing, and now she sees, like how all this division was created, and is more ashamed of herself for playing along. And that is where, more and more people, and it is so weird. Like, I'm telling you, on the comments and stuff where I see people, I mean, so cruel, like so nasty. And it's like, this cannot be real people. This has got to be fake accounts, instigators, people just to come and beat people down. I mean, because they'll go into an account, like this one girl, she wasn't beautiful or anything, but she wasn't trying to be. I mean, she had on these big glasses, and her hair, she wasn't fixed or anything. She's just kind of, plain girl, maybe a little overweight or whatever. And I don't know what her content is, but all I saw was her responding to a comment, and she said that there's a whole bunch of them. And the sad thing too was that she kept apologizing. It's fucking heartbreaking, man. I'm sorry I'm not pretty enough. I'm sorry I'm not skinny enough. I'm sorry I'm not this. I'm sorry I'm not that. Like, who the hell? Like, you think people only have value if they are what you think that they should be? Because this girl was a beautiful spirit. She was and it was sad to see her like be so beat down. I mean, she's crying, and man, it was just, I just can't believe how people come in and ridicule somebody like that and start. But I've seen so many. Oh my gosh, so many. And they'll do it to guys or girls. I mean, there's guys who aren't, Mr. Hunky Beautiful, and they'll go in and tell them that they're not worthy. They should just kill themselves. And then they do it also with some of these girls. It's like, I have a hard time believing those are real people. Those are real humans. I think, and if they are, I mean, to create so much hate and pain for somebody else, that's karma. Like, that will come back on you. You putting that out, like, those are the kinds of things, like in the life reviews, and go in and read near-death experience books over and over, read them all. And in the life review, you go in, you're going to experience what you caused others to feel. So you have to feel what they felt. And so when you're going around creating pain and heartless, just mean, evil stuff that is pointless. Like, there's no reason. What are you doing that is positive or good? Are you doing anything that is beneficial? Does this girl really need to know what you thought of her looks? I don't think so. So, yeah, those things will come back on you. And it's sad and hard to see so many people getting their hearts broken, but I know that that is part of coming into your truth and standing up for yourself and really coming to terms with, like, why am I upset because this guy, this asshole person who is a hateful person, thinks I'm not pretty? Why would I care? You know, I mean, chances are this person is extremely unattractive who is coming in and trying to say something mean about somebody else, and that's why they're going in and doing it, is because they just want to, they feel so put down, they just want to put others down. But still, you go face yourself. You're still, that you face yourself. That's where people think they're being judged by God. You face yourself, and it's a humiliation to see yourself as being somebody who is heartless and cold and mean and bitter and stuff. So those things are not things that people want to recognize in themselves. And so, they do everything they can to hide from that. And, some people do just create just drama and mean things. And, that's just building more of who you are. That's just more garbage for you to carry, more things for you to heal. Because now you have your own stuff to heal, but you've also caused pain on others. So now you got yourself in that. And, I've talked about this for a long time about redemption and how valuable it is. And, you got to take those kind of opportunities, even if you've been, a total dick to people. You need to take those opportunities to shift this energy, and everything on the planet is happening for you to be able to make that shift. It's like the universe is handing you this gift so that you can turn it around the other way. But, like I keep saying, that I don't think that people really get is, like, it is you. You have to do this for you. You have to feel it in you. You have to follow your guidance. Like, everything is inside of you. And you have to do it. You have to notice. You have to notice you're not being treated well. You have to notice that you can have more. All of the things is you have to start seeing it and doing it and being it and thinking it. It's your transformation. It's your evolution. It's your opportunity for change. Everything here is for that. All this energy is for you to get to have this chance. But, you have to take it. And that is part of the problems, where they keep so much distractions and so many problems, and storm after storm, and the violence, and it's just going to get worse. Like, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Like, I really think most big cities are going to be, underwater, under mud, and abandoned, burned down. Like, it's going to be really, a lot of cities are going to be very destroyed. Like, it's curious too, is when I was on Twitter before, that was during all of the George stuff. And so I saw a lot of live footage going on of the riots and stuff out there. Like, I haven't seen any of those now. I saw, like, the first night, I saw like a couple of just, a couple things of people just walking and chanting together and holding signs. But the whole thing is that they bring in the instigators. So anybody who's just going out because they just want to just stand strong, and they just want to show they really care about other people, and they really care about Black people and all this, that they just want to go out and show. This is that SJW kind of, like, I've got to show everyone the kind of person I am, so they go out and put themselves in danger, because it's, that's what they are banking on. They want you to come out like that. They want you to come out and show who you are. And those are the people they want to take out. You know, they take out everybody, you know, it's easy. I mean, the whole thing still going on. Like, there's so much still going on with, like, the poor housing stuff. Like, man, that stuff is very criminal. The CPS stuff, like, man, the fucking rabbis, man, there's just so many. I swear to God, every day I see like huge arrests being done. And then it's weird too, because then I'll see a video where it's somebody like whining about, like, I'm so tired of this. Them telling us there's white hats. They're telling us this. I was like, what are you looking at? What are you paying attention to? It doesn't matter what somebody's saying. Like, this guy was going through the same list, you know, that of the people I always watched. And so he was saying, you know, Charlie Ward. I don't think he said David, but he said Charlie, Mel, Simon. Simon was, I mean, I've seen Simon, but I know he has a huge follower list thing. There was a couple more too, but definitely Charlie and Mel and who was that other one? He said another one that I was always listening. Maybe he did say David. I don't know. But anyways, he was saying, you know, I listened to those people for years, and they all kept saying the same thing. And he said, you know, sometimes I'll go in now and listen like once a month, and they just keep saying the same thing. But he's like, I don't get it. They just keep saying it, but nothing's happening. It's like, how do you not see nothing's happening? Like, what are you focused on? Because I see stuff happening all the time. That's what confuses me. It's like these people who are constantly like, nothing's happening, oh, the White House, blah, 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 blah. Like, they get so worked up, and Q and blah, and you stupid people who believe this shit and all that. It's like, you know, if I didn't see things happening, but I've seen things happening. That's what drew me in the beginning. It's because, like, I was coming from a spiritual point of view, and when I started seeing that stuff, I was like, oh, whoa. And then when I started trying to tell people, because that's when I was going out, you know, and listening to the lives and going in and talking in chat groups and stuff like that. And I was very, you know, I was not like other people. I was very different. I was a progressive person, for one thing, or was, like, I wasn't anymore. But then I was also spiritual, and they were all religious. And so, you know, in the conversations, you know, they're all waiting for Jesus and stuff. But there was a lot of parts that they weren't seeing, because you had to have that spiritual background. And that is what, you know, like, that's what I keep saying, is because I knew all this stuff was going to be happening in 2015. That is because having a spiritual background and having it where it was the stuff that we were finding out about. But then what tripped me out, it was because when I was going in and listening to that group, all of these red pill people who were the conservatives, who were speaking out about all of the stuff going on with the crimes in the government and stuff like that. Then you had when I would go in and I would listen to a spiritual channel, they were lost. Like, they had no idea of anything that was going on, like the stuff that they were saying. And I was like, man, how are they not seeing this? Like, this is going exactly, like, what? How are they not seeing it? And so then, and I kept going, and I kept seeing all these different spiritual channels where they were like, they were seeing completely opposite things of what I was seeing, and they were not seeing things. That's where I started seeing, like, oh my gosh, so many of these are progressives. They're not seeing what's out there. They're seeing what they're told. And so that is where I really started seeing on the spiritual community how much of it was also with the progressives, because you have the conservatives that they go with religion because it's a conservative way to, you know, and then the progressives, the liberals, the whatever, you know, are going to go. It's so funny too, because they all think like they're way outside the box, but they don't realize that they just went into a box that's very controlled. They didn't really go outside of the box. Outside of the box is really stepping outside of what is they think because they do their hair blue or whatever, they're real, and put things all over in their faces and stuff, that means they're real, independent, that they're not just a product of their environment, but they are the most product of their environment. It's like that they created that whole, they created the roles that these people play. And so, anyways, it was just weird because I started seeing that, and that was in 2020. After the election, when I started hearing about the Q thing, I was going in and listening to those and the red pill channels and all of that stuff. And then that is when I was shifting out of the spiritual channels. And that's when I started shifting more towards, okay, I got to start speaking my truth. And that is where they became relentless. That's where I was like, because I would get my typewriter out and I started typing. I still haven't even edited my journals. Like, that's going to be a big job. But, so that, at first that's what I thought I was supposed to be doing. But then it was like, I'm just going to do this, like, podcast thing where you're just talking and telling the stuff and spreading the word. And then plus, they were showing me, that spreading it across the airwaves, which is bigger than what we really realize. And so anyways, that's where I started seeing, like, there's like all these people that weren't seeing the whole story, because even the red pill people weren't seeing the whole story, and all the spiritual people weren't seeing the whole story. So I just started really seeing, like, all these different people aren't seeing it. Like, why aren't they seeing it? Why aren't they seeing what I'm seeing? It was, man, I'm telling you, it was a real relief when I started hearing other people saying some of the things I was saying, where I was like, okay, so other people are seeing what I'm seeing. So it's just for some reason these other people are not. But it has been such a, man, this has just been so mind-blowing to really go through this from this perspective of being awake for so long through it and watching and seeing, like, how people get so stuck on what they look at and how they don't question things, how biases prevent them from hearing anything, how all this stuff is used against them. And, oh my gosh, I just saw where Madonna now, she's going on another tour. Really, so you're being investigated for what you've done to your children. But you're still going out there and preparing for your thing. And her commercial or her ad or whatever it is for her world tour, it looks like it's like this Middle Eastern scene from the Bible or something. Like, I do not like some of these people at all. It really gets me, and I'm not going to blame all of Hollywood or something. I mean, those people were just as desperate, to go and try and figure out who they were and wanted to do something, and, what most people were all just trying to find their place in the world and figure out who they were and follow their dreams. But when you just, the manipulation of the whole thing, and then when you just start, I swear to God, there can be a line in a movie and I'm just like, oh my God, how did someone pay you to say that? Like, people just have not taken any responsibility throughout life of what they're putting out there. And it is, all fits together. It all fits together. And it just really shows me that we have a lot of stuff that we're trying to overcome. And so we really do have to have a lot of patience, because there really is so many people stuck. But it's going to keep going. It's going to keep shifting. And so, that's for sure. And we are close. I feel certain we are close. And supposedly, now we've gone past all these dates. There's always a date up ahead. There's always a date. Somebody's like, this date, this is the date. We've got the date. I'm like, I wish. And so now it's something definitely by March. Definitely by March. So, I mean, I've been thinking that, I think February is going to be a lot of crazy stuff. I can't even believe January is already over. So I think February is going to be a lot of crazy stuff. And things are going to keep switching. Things are going to start becoming really magical. You're going to start seeing people who have been, you're going to start seeing the leveling up. You're going to start seeing more and more people able to humble themselves and call themselves out. And you're going to see more people who are angry and just want to hide themselves. They are too scared to face themselves. And they will act out and react and continue in those behaviors. But those people will also be exiting the game at some point. Because like I've said a million times, like they only have a certain amount of time. You can come in and you've got this certain amount of time, so you can however you want to focus it, but when your time's up, your time's up. And when you can't meet the vibration of the planet, you're just going to die off like anything else. So there's a lot of the people who are doing a lot of shitty things, they won't be around. The instigators, like these politicians. I just find it really comical, Nancy doing an exorcism. Like, how do you even get to go in your own place anymore? Like, I would think that you would not. I mean, you're the evil. Like, there's so much of these people that are just so evil. Like, you're so like, man. I mean, she is so disgusting. Her district is, man, these people are sickening. And Newsom, I saw him out speaking yesterday on some fucking nonsense. Like, these people are disgusting. So, anyways, everything is still going. To me, it's moving, full speed ahead. And more people even now recognizing, oh, Putin's a good guy. Like, man. But there's still people who are super confused. Like, they're just like, I just don't know. Like, this is so weird. Like, who's the good one and who's the bad one? I don't even know anymore. Like, so many people. That's all part of the awakening. And, it's going to keep going. And so just stay strong, especially, if you're in any of these places, like one storm after another, even though we're not having a storm right this minute, the frigid temperatures are, it's so fucking cold. And I do have to go out today, like, especially having somebody else here now. I'm going through things so much faster. Like, oh, this is intense. This is so intense. Like, I'm so curious to see what's going to happen next. So, anyways, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen next. I have lost my power a couple times, but it's only been off for a few minutes. But each time it goes off, it's like, is this it? Is this it? Is this where we're going? I don't know. So, anyways, stay strong and stay safe. And, I'll be back tomorrow if everything is here. I'll still keep coming. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.